Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Berardi and fucking Cook, your aftermatch, reaction, shall we say, of today's game at home to Fulham. I'm sure we've all got quite a bit to say, or both of us have got quite a bit to say, but. Yeah, it's going to be one of them, and it's going to be I like to use the word somber, I think, because we'll come on to why probably later, and I'm pretty sure the majority of people are going to know why. But let's run the intro and we'll have a bit of a chat. Anyway, thanks for joining me, Smarty. Sorry, I should have said I'm joined by this lad here. I think he's paused.
Hi, this is Don Matteo, and you are listening to the Orta Know Better podcast. Let's do this.
I did introduce you there, Smarty, but for whatever reason, your internet decided to have a bit of a fucking meltdown for a second or two. Welcome anyway. Thanks. How are you doing?
All right, mate. Yeah, considering. Yeah.
What did you have for your tea? Was that a highlighted day?
Obviously. No, it wasn't.
Beef.
Probably going to sleep if I can tonight. It's probably going to be the highlight of the day. Maybe having a beer in the pub before a game, maybe an highlight. I don't know. But I don't know. It's hey, we've got something.
Yeah, well,
yeah, it wasn't the best day. Have they gone?
Yeah,
you keep sending your link out to all these random strangers.
Yeah, one day we're gonna get like some pimp come on and just like show us his new house or something. Aren't we, like Pimp My Ride? So for anybody
selling some drugs.
Yeah, we've sent the link out to anybody who wants to come on, because I think it's an opportune moment, opportune timing for the season, to hear what the fans are thinking, and obviously we can only talk about our feelings towards the club and things that are going on, but it'd be good to get sort of a more generic, and I think we probably understand what the general sort of feedback is as a fan, based on what's going on now.
Kev's telling us to keep it cheerful.
Yeah, it's going to be
no
a tough one.
There.
It's going to be a tough one, isn't it? So let's jump straight into the actual game itself. I mean, we started off, Smarty, absolutely chalk and cheese to Thursday night for me, and we looked dangerous. Yeah. We looked dangerous. Yeah. Why was? I mean, I'm not. It seems too simple to say that it's the 12th man with the home crowd, and that we can't use that as an excuse. These are professional footballers. Why are we so shit away and then we get sort of a second wind at home? I mean, we're going to come on to it. It didn't give us a second wind today, but the way we started the game, we looked comfortable, didn't we?
Yeah, very much so, up until the first goal. I don't know what it is, whether it's just us, taking his foot off the gas or expecting the other team to crumble under the pressure, maybe, who knows. But you could kind of see the transition where Fulham would start to get a bit of a foothold, and then it were literally all them then. That was it. It was just Fulham. And it would hard to take that first goal, man. Fuck. It's like you can just see it just drained out of the crowd. As soon as they equalised, the atmosphere went absolutely on its arse. That was it. You could have heard a mouse fart from the other side of the stadium. It just sucked the life out of fans. It looked like it deflated them to a degree. But it was just in parts we did play some decent football, even when we were at 1-1, and even when we were at 2-1 down. We were still in small elements. We were playing decent football, but it's just not good enough, is it? It's the same stuff we've been looking at for the last Christ knows how long. It's just it just seems to be route one, and you could literally see. I paid more attention to Fulham. I don't normally watch the away team as much as I did today. obviously you watched them, but I was actually paying close attention as to how they were trying to attack us, and you could literally see them. It's like when the defense had the ball, they would suck our front line in, and then hit their. I think it's their number 26. I'm not sure who he is. They would hit him straight away. Straight? No, not good. I don't know.
Who was it? The centre midfielder.
Centre midfielder, big centre midfielder.
Paulino, right?
Hit him straight away. He was there, absolute direct out ball, bosh, and he got the ball, and he went in so much space. They just sucked us in. Aronson, they were pressing individually rather than as a group like that we're supposed to do. I don't know what we're supposed to do. And then from there on, it would just all they do is just attack our flanks. Now I thought Ayling did all right, and I thought Struik, bless him.
Yeah. So I said, Go on, sorry, mate.
No, I would say I don't think it was his best game. I don't think it were any of them best game. I can't really say that they were terrible individually. It was just a team performance again is just lacking in so many different aspects. It's just shit.
I felt before the last couple of games that there was a couple of bits missing, but based on the last two games, I think it's just so much more, and I think there's just a lot we need to be doing, and a lot that needs changing for me. I've been the most positive, optimistic supporter of the club and everything they've done, and Marsh coming in and keeping us up last season, and everything in between. Can you hear me? All right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but there's only so many excuses you can make, mate, for me. And anyway, I said we were going to be getting the odd guest in. I don't know if Callum's ready. Callum, we're just going to bring you on and get your thoughts, mate. All right.
Give us a thumbs up. Don't say shit or bugger.
Hey up, Callum. How are we doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Thanks for jumping on. So, straight into it then. We've come on to that, and between Smarty and myself, we've decided that there's issues, there's problems. What for you is the underlying issue? Where are we going wrong?
It's a rough one, mate. I don't think Marsh has the right tactics for the Premier League. I think the Red Bull football works well away from the harshness of the Premier League, but I also think there's a lot of questions to be asked of the board. I saw a number that from the money that we got in from Rafinha and Phillips, that we've only spent 5 million of that, and to stay up we need a lot more than that.
Sorry, 5 million on top of that, do you mean? On top of the money we've brought in?
From that. So you look at the people that we brought in, it was nowhere near what we've spent.
Right, all right. So we obviously made about 100 million. I think we spent 105. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
We've not invested any. The board haven't invested that anything much extra. No. So who is the root problem then? What would you say? Do you think the main problem is the board not investing? Do you think the main problem is Jesse Marsh isn't good enough to manage in the Premier League, or do you think we're just simply not got good enough players?
I think it's a mix between the board and Jesse Marsh. You look at what Bielsa achieved, and I know a lot of fans look at you can't mention Bielsa again. Everything that he's done.
Sorry, have you swallowed your phone?
Yeah, a
little.
But if you look at what Bielsa did, he achieved the impossible with a very, very minimal spend. Now, we're adapting the Leicester City model, and I don't think that's the right model to try and adapt.
Right.
They're only coming good, and they've got a decent manager in Brendan Rodgers that's proven at this level, whereas Jesse Marsh isn't. He's a nice bloke. I'd quite happily buy him a pint, but I don't think he's going to take us anywhere special. We gave him a 4 or 5 year contract.
I think it was 3.5. I think it was half of last year, the rest of last year, and then another 3 on top of that.
So I don't think he's going to achieve what we need to achieve in that time. I think
that's fair enough. Yeah, fair point.
I think we need to look at recruitment. I think we recruited well with Aronson, with Rocker, with Adams, but the fact that we've not invested in a striker or a left back, and then we've got Angus Kinnear saying, we've got 2 international number 9s. I think there's things like that add up and just make it more of a joke.
Yeah, no, I look, I've I've been quite vocal on Twitter and everything, and everywhere else in that, supportive of what's gone on. And I thought we'd invested really, really well. I just feel now that actually we're coming a little bit unstuck. When the goings gets tough, these players haven't got that in them. They've not been in this position. Do you know what I mean? The majority of them, these new lads that have come in, and I don't think. I think you're quite right in what you say. I don't think the board have invested enough, and it was clear we needed a left back, but we just signed Firpo, and if you believe in Firpo as a left back, which probably 99% of the fan base don't, then you can see why the board didn't invest in a left back. You can see why they didn't go for a striker, but it looks to be so clear now. And I'll be the first to hold my hands up. I thought we had a good enough squad this season. So yeah. Sorry, mate. Is your tea ready?
No, sorry, my missus.
Hello, Callum's family. Welcome.
Sorry, my missus thinks it's funny. When I look at it, like the left back situation is just we can't make these signings try and work when they're just not. Like we've all watched Firpo, and whether it's lack of minutes when he was at Barcelona, whatever.
Talent.
He's not good enough. He's not good enough to play in this team.
Lack of number of legs, I would say, probably. But yeah. Anyway, just before we let you shoot off, Callum, thanks ever so much for jumping on. Most important question of the evening: Jesse in or Jesse out as it stands right now?
Jesse out, mate.
All right, mate. Thanks ever so much for jumping on. Cheers, mate.
Cheers for having me on, Pop. I appreciate it.
Cheers.
Interesting. I mean, there's
hashtag
Smarty.
Jesse out.
I think. I mean, there's a lot to be said. I mean, I have a belief that that's going to be a relatively common occurrence. The amount of people that are speaking and going to question and come on potentially, or you see on Twitter, it's the board's fault for not investing. Then it's Jesse Marsh's fault for not being good enough, and then it's not the players' fault. Who does it lie with, Smarty, for you?
Oh God.
I mean, it's a combination, isn't it? But if you had to put the finger,
I think predominantly people are putting the blame solely at the minute at Jesse Marsh's feet. Now, Jesse Marsh's appointment is down to the board. The recruitment's down to the board. The performances are down to the players, and some of the performances from our players are subpar. You saw the way that, I mean, I can't remember it with the second or third goal, the Willian goal, where Reed just literally walked around everyone and just tapped it in to edge at 6-yard box and just sort of won it. That was just a fucking absolute shambles. It's laughable actually how easy it was for them to score their third goal. It was just like a walk in the park. But it's Bamford. I'm sorry, but he's
getting the chances. He's getting the chances,
and he's 1-on-1, and he's
changes
not
the game.
Taking his chances, and it's like it's so frustrating. I mean, you are back to last season where we weren't playing right well, and we had everything against us. We had injuries and stuff. This is a fully fit squad, barring Biscuit bloody Forshaw. This is a fully fit squad that we've got at his disposal. Agreed, there aren't that many people on the bench that can impact a game and change things, but at the end of the day, it's got a fully fit squad. So why? The thing is, they were playing shit, and we've also a striker that can't finish his dinner. But the thing is, we have no answers because we don't have anything. Rodrigo, I mean, fair play to him. He scored today, and he took his chance, and fair play, well done to him. But Bamford is our best striker. Bamford is our number one striker, and he can't finish. It's so fucking frustrating. So frustrating. We're going to go down because we can't score fucking goals. And we daren't fucking shoot. The thing for me, one of the most frustrating things for me is that we don't shoot or take an opportunity outside box. It's like we're trying to run a ball into bloody goal.
Yeah.
It's like,
I completely
go from edge at box.
Do you know what else frustrates me as well is the fact that we have got a better squad on paper than last year for me. And
that's something else that someone started arguing with me about on Twitter.
Oh, here we go.
Really? I went, we've got a better squad than we had last season. I'm like, oh, we know we haven't. Rafinha and blah, 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 blah. It says, on the whole, taking out individuals, Rafinha at this moment in time, you'd probably say we'd be better than Sinistera, but it's marginal. It's not massive because I think Sinistera is a cracking player.
And Raf was shit for the first part of last season anyway.
Yeah, and Raf were up and down, but he absolutely fought tooth and nail for us at the end of last season, which you can't knock him for. Phillips were on and off all season. We've got Rocker and Adams, who, in my opinion, are doing a cracking job. I think we missed Adams a little bit today.
We didn't have.
But I think they're doing a good enough job to kind of cancel Calvin out. So that's a non-argument for me. And we've improved with Aronson. Christensen is getting better, but I thought Ayling, he had a great game as well today. So that's another one that he will improve the team over time and he will get better and all that sort of stuff. And he's great. But we've got some more guests anyway piling up.
Yeah. Just on that, we'll get Mark on. Good evening, Mark. How are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I've been better, mate. I've been better. I will be perfectly honest with you. I'm a little bit. It's horrible how I let football control my moods, but I'm pretty sure every Leeds fan's probably like this. You know what I mean? It literally determines how I'm going to be for the rest of the evening or the rest of the day and days after. But yeah, how are you feeling, mate?
I've had worse days, mate. I've had worse days. Thursday night was worse. Crikey.
Well, yeah, it was. And we started off with that. Mike. We said, look, the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, we went out guns blazing. We looked, I want to say comfortable, but we're in control. We go a goal up, and then we just let it fucking slip and let him score from shit marking and absolute plastic poppered on wrists at the front post, Where are you on this whole debate then? What's going so wrong in that? I looked at the fixtures earlier. Out of our last 8, we probably should have been competing for wins in at least 7 of them, with the view to actually how we played against Arsenal, all 8, arguably, but we've picked up 0 wins in that time. What's the issue?
Well, the obvious issue is we're not winning the games, are we? And there's a lack of confidence clearly seeping through now. I mean, I'm fortunate. I've been to every game this season, and Thursday was a downer. Today, like you say, we started the game well. We went 1 up. Excuse me, I'm just having a quick drink of that. But for some reason, rather than go on and build on it, we let them back in, and it was a shocking goal. And me and the guys were saying, sort of during it, one thing we have improved with our friend Mr. Marsh, the corners, we look a little bit more. You don't feel as jittery when we get a corner against us now. But it was so easy for them, and that got them back in the game. The crowd got a little bit nervous. That goes onto the pitch.
Yeah.
And I just said at half time, he's got to change it. I would not have started with Greenwood today. I do not get how a guy who's hardly played suddenly comes straight into the
I don't think he had a bad game.
He played
I didn't think he had a bad game.
No, he didn't have a... So it was fine. I'm not criticising. I won't criticise any of the players.
But the confidence and leadership is where you're coming from, isn't it, Mark?
We do.
You put Click in there and it's a different ball game, isn't it?
I feel when Click has come on this season in games, he's made a difference. I like his movement. He gets into sort of positions where the guy's 32. He's got a lot of experience. He plays for Poland. And I think he should have started today in what was such a massive game. I thought Sinisterra's played well. I don't get the Harrison going on the right. He doesn't seem to be comfortable there.
Did you see I mean, we scored from it. Luckily, with Rod's
we did. Yeah, we did.
If you watch that back, mate, honestly, when you get a chance on Match at Day later, watch it. How much he had to turn to get that onto his left foot. He had the whole goal open to him on his right foot, and he's turned back onto his left, and he's got it blocked. If we hadn't scored from that, mate, I'd have been fucking fuming. So yeah, I mean, I there's nothing I don't disagree with in there, but with what you're saying. And even in the second half, we controlled the first part of that as well. It's almost, I read it somewhere earlier. Somebody said it's almost like we're playing in quarters. We're good in quarters, but for 1 quarter in the first half, and then a quarter of the second half, or all of the second half, or all of the first half. There's just no consistency is key in it.
First and final third, shite. Middle third, we're all right.
Yeah, but don't you think it's like if we don't make the most of that 15-minute quarter, those quarters,
we've got to bury him. We've had his chances.
We're not making that advantage count when we do have that period. And what's a little bit more concerning in the last 2 or 3 games we look like we're going to concede a lot more. I felt, the goals conceded hasn't been too bad with the exception of Brentford. But suddenly now we just look like we're going to concede, and that confidence. I mean, those goals today from Fulham, I mean, it was horrible.
It was,
Horrible.
mate. It was. And
the first one's hard to defend in it because it's Mitrovic and he's good in the air. And I don't know why Cooper isn't marking Mitrovic and he's been left to wailing.
Or Pascal.
Yeah.
A strong, tall defender should be marking Mitrovic, not Ayling. So, it's one of them. And obviously, let's not disregard his quality, the guy's quality. But, yeah, the other goals were just a bit breathe through your teeth sort of stuff, aren't they?
All in all, mate, there were soft goals to give away. We've played 7 teams that are average in this league and picked up, I think, 2 draws along the way, 3 draws along the way, maybe. We've got beat enough times. So what's got to change for you, Mark? If you're Mr. Leeds United, what would you change tomorrow?
I get rid of Marsh. I never felt confident even last season. I can't get my head round. Bielsa's gone. I don't agree. It's like Thursday night, fans around me are singing Bielsa. He's gone. Forget about, move on now. We know what he did, but we've got to move on. But I don't get how all the research and whatever Orta does to look at these 20, 30 coaches. We're a Premier League club. And I don't think the fans are as demanding as maybe in previous years. I think we just want a team that can compete. And that, we can stay in this league for years to come and build and build. But why did Jesse Marsh? He's managed in Austria. Fair enough, he had a tough time for personal reasons in Germany. But you don't look at his CV and think, wow, this is the guy that should come in and can take us where we need to be. Yeah,
really quickly then, before we do let you get off, Mark, we've got plenty of other people that just want to jump on.
Go on, quick. 5-10 minutes, sorry.
No, we've just got a few more people just waiting to jump on. Sorry. That's all, mate. Just before I do let you go, then who do you bring in to replace him?
That's the honest answer. I don't know at this stage.
Okay.
I've not got enough knowledge of what's out there in Europe.
No, fair enough.
But I just don't think it's working. And I mean, we've got Liverpool on Saturday. We've got Liverpool, Tottenham, Man City and Newcastle to come in the net. Well, I know we've got the break for the World Cup.
Yeah.
And I can't do with it. I understand it. It's just going to get more toxic. The booing, having a go at the players, the manager. It's not healthy. And
it breeds a negative playground, doesn't it? Because the negativity spills onto the field, and then that goes back. It's a catch-22. That we're not going to win until we start getting results. And from what I understand from what you're saying is that if things carry on currently, we're not going to pick up results. We've got look at the next fixtures. Out of our next 5, we've got to play City, Spurs. We've got Liverpool, Newcastle, who've just beaten Spurs, and then obviously Bournemouth as well. But yeah, I mean, I've already no need to ask you the question, but before we do relieve you of your duties, thanks ever so much for joining us. I understand you're very much in the Marsh out camp, correct?
I am at the moment, sadly, and I didn't want this to happen. But one last thing I would say, when we all got together after the season, we were down at Brentford, coming back. I think we've got to listen to what you were saying. I was just waiting to come on. We have got, I think, on paper, a better squad of players to choose from. Agreed. I just do not think the system works for these guys and for what you need in the Premier League.
Yeah, fair point.
And I just think if Marsh could just change it in some way, there might be a chance. But I don't think he will.
I don't. I think the benefit we've got with Marsh is he is open to adaptation and changing things in comparison to when obviously I hate to keep mentioning Bielsa, but he was very sort of stubborn in his ways. We knew nothing was going to change. But I have a feeling Marsh is more adaptable, and I've said that since the start. Whether he gets the time and enough time to be able to put that into practice, I guess we'll see. Thanks ever so much, Mark, for joining us, mate. Appreciate it. Cheers,
pleasure. Thanks for your time. See you soon.
What do you make of that? Smarty spot on, isn't he? Pretty much everything we've said.
I mean, we're going to get a lot of varied opinions, I'm sure, but I think the overriding opinion is that I think most are thinking Marsh should go. Now, I've personally been banging this drum, as most will, attest to, since
Big on me Christmas.
day dot. And I've made a few weird claims. Fucking hell, look what cat dragged in. What have you been caught in,
Jesus
rain, lad?
Christ, what's
going
doing?
Sorry,
I'm ready for a haircut, lads. I've been listening for a while. I didn't want to jump in straight away on Mark Rum. But I couldn't resist when Smarty got going about how he hates Jesse Marsh. I just had to be here.
That's it. Well, let me just set the record. I mean, I have said that I didn't see him getting to October/Christmas, and it don't look like it's going to come true.
You did, to be fair.
Openly backed it, but it just doesn't work, and it's not worked. It's not ever worked. We've had glimpses of it working, perhaps against teams like Chelsea and Arsenal. Whether our system that we play disrupts their system that they play, in an effective way, but against the normal average teams like your Leicesters and your Fulhams and Wolves, etc., it don't work against them. I know we beat Wolves. It's just so frustrating. You can literally see where we're going wrong all the time. In fact, I took the time to take pictures of our flanks being so empty either side, with two Fulham players either side just waiting to receive.
Because you were so mad. You were so mad.
I were absolutely. Oh, I could have crushed a bloody grape.
It's like Sky Sports when they start drawing circles around players.
I want looking forward to coming on here tonight. I'd rather have had a shower with my dad than
come on here tonight. Smarty? It's been that bad, mate. It's just good to get together with other people who suffered the same.
What's the biggest frustration for you then, Jay? Obviously, other than anything we've mentioned, is there anything else that stands out for you in terms of whether it be a board member or whether it be a player or what is it? What's the issue? What's the issue for you?
Do you know what? Mark, who just on made a lot of good points in that, like you said to him, what would you change now? You can't change much right now.
Well, you can't change anything.
Manager. Other than the manager, you can't sign anybody. The board aren't going to just fuck off, are they? And I feel like we're in the middle of like a perfect storm right now, where we've got like a manager whose tactics are shit, a board who've not invested enough, and then you've got like players who just aren't fucking putting in the performances, and combine the three, you're fucked, aren't you? It's like against Leicester, like because I went there the other night. The biggest thing for me was the fact that we, never mind the fact we're on the back foot when we should have been at them. But when we did get the ball and we should have been looking to be positive and move forward, nobody were running. You would get a guy would get the ball and he'd be looking around and nobody was showing. And in a Premiership team, you've got no one showing football. You've got a problem. Do you know what I mean? Nobody wanted that ball. There were no runners, and that has to lie with the coach for me and the tactics, because who else is telling him what to do? I feel like he's unfortunate in that there should have been a couple more players brought in. Do you think a little bit short, but it's his tactics. If the players aren't fucking moving, that's Jesse Marsh's fault.
Do you think we look less fit? I think the players look tired.
They don't look like they did under Bielsa, do they? Well, you remember that season where we finished 9th in the Premier League. Yeah, it's a bit of a freak season, but you never saw them lads stop. Never. No. The pundits made a big deal about the fact we were chasing a ball down at City or whoever it was in like the 80th minute or something, and there's like 10 players chasing it down, pressing.
There's just no urgency.
Now. No,
there's no urgency.
But does that
like they don't know what to do?
Does that come from confidence? We've all played a sport of some sort, and we've all, you know what it's like when you're getting beat week in, week out. There's nothing worse than turning up on a Saturday or a Sunday morning to go get your fucking ass kicked, and you just know it.
And you turn up expecting it, don't you?
Does that mean that the players don't believe in the system that they're playing under their manager, though? Because that's the only explanation that you'd have for that.
I think so.
They've openly admitted that we're all together, we're all united, blah, 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 PR fucking bullshit. Is it working? Do they believe in the manager's tactics? They all said he was a breath of fresh air when he took over. In my opinion, it fucking stinks. I mean, you saw the save that Melier did today against Mitrovic, and there were two or three Fulham attackers. There were 5 or 6 of our players around, and then they just turned around and just like, right, okay, let's
Yeah, I'll say one thing, Smarty.
Like, where's the fucking urgency? Why aren't you busting your ass, running to the other side of the fucking field and trying to bloody score another goal? It's just too lapsy daisy. It's just too, we'll just play some fucking marsh ball. Fuck off.
I totally agree with that, Smart. But I'll say one thing: when it comes to the breath of the fresh air thing, that were asked just after he'd come in, and like, if you're working for a gaffer who's making you work an hour overtime every day, saying we need this, lads, we've got to get this done, and then somebody else comes in who's like, oh, don't be silly, lads, off you go at home time. You'd be saying, cracking.
I'm not a fan.
Fucking brilliant. You might find out 3 months down the line he's a knobhead.
I'm not a fan of it.
You'd think he's great.
I mean, I didn't necessarily mean as a comparison to Bielsa when I asked the question. I am a little bit tired of the references back to Bielsa, but I know
that's
I understand
we've got now, Luke. That's a problem we've got.
It's not a problem.
It will always going to happen because he's a predecessor.
Yeah. It casts a massive shadow. It's going to be a thing for a while.
I think the issue for me is specifically, if I'm perfectly honest with, I think this probably is the predominant root of all the problems we've got, and agree. Feel free to disagree or agree. Is the joint ownership? It's this 49ers hanging over the head. It's Rads isn't going to put money in when the 49ers and it's just a mess for me. We don't seem to have who's making the decisions. Are the 49ers making the decisions, or is Rads? I know Rads has got predominant ownership, but if he's backed into a corner where he's potentially selling this club to the 49ers, he's not going to go out and make rash decisions and start throwing his weight around and stuff, is he? So I think that isn't helping. But I mean that doesn't sort of reflect that shouldn't reflect on the performances we're having on the field ultimately. So anyway, Jay, give me a little quick rundown. Jesse in or Jesse out right now, and why?
I don't like to say sack a manager, especially not willy-nilly, but as I said before, if that's the only option we've got to change something right now, I'd say Jesse out, because regardless of what the board have or haven't done, who hasn't been signed, his tactics are letting us down. So that's the only thing that can change for me.
So Jesse in, Jesse out.
I don't really want that to be the case, because I'd like him to succeed.
He's
but I'm saying Jesse
said
out.
it without saying it.
Yeah. No, I did. I said Jesse out because you can only change tactics right now. So,
I'm just looking longingly into your caramel dome. That's,
oh no, man! I need a haircut real bad. About
who does he look like? He looks like someone.
No, fucking Mossop.
I've been told by fucking Apple. I've been told by Render. Everyone's fucking told me today. Honestly.
Brilliant, Jay. Right, we'll see you Tuesday. Cheers for jumping on, buddy.
Cheers, Jay.
Yeah, always a pleasure having you.
We got Russ.
I love him.
We got Russ who looks very serious.
He's excited, isn't he? Let's get him on. Serious. He's been on before us, Russ. Lovely bloke. Yeah. So, Russ, how we doing, bud?
Oh, good, thanks, Luke. How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, spot on, buddy. Nice to hear from you.
Evening, Smarty.
Evening, mate. How we doing?
Not bad, mate. Thank you.
Enjoyed today?
I did when we scored, but when we scored us 2 goals, but apart from that, God, I'm lost for words, mate. I can't believe how we've gone from playing the way we did against Arsenal to how we've played in his last 2 games.
Spot on.
He's like we can't. He's even under Bielsa as well. We played well against the teams that we know we can't beat or not expected to win. But the teams we expect to win, we can't. We've only won 2 games this season, and both of those teams that we've won have changed the managers.
They've also had 10 men.
Yeah. So where does it stem for you? You watch a lot of football, Russ. I know you do a lot of journalism down at Rotherham and that, and massive Leeds fan. So tell us what I mean, if you were the manager, what would you have changed on the pitch? What's going wrong?
Well, for me, in the game against Leicester, he said before the game against Leicester, he said Cooper can't play 3 games in a week. So I thought, right, that's okay. He's going to make a new strike. We're going to play against Leicester because he was injured. So I thought, fair play to come in there because he's the only other option that we can have a left back at the moment because Elders aren't injured who could also potentially play there.
Yeah,
McCarmon's played there, but he's mainly playing with the under 21s. And also, before the Leicester game, he said Willie Yonto would feature in the Leicester game and today. He was on the bench against Leicester, nowhere to be seen in the squad today. I don't know how true this is, but I've heard in the game which the 21s beat Middlesbrough yesterday 4-2. Fantastic goals, by the way, which saw them earlier on LUTV. Go and check them out if you've not seen them yet.
A little plug there, Russ.
That's it, exactly. Yeah.
And he's apparently said to the under-21 manager to take off Darko JB and Willie Orta at half-time, which he did, because he was going to involve him in this match day squad today. Only Darko JB was in the squad. Where's Nonto? Nonto, if he can, he's Italian international. He's played against Germany in both of the games in the Nations League. Came on against England, started against Hungary, and played some fantastic football for them, especially in the game against England, because that's the main one I saw of the Italian Nations League games earlier this.
Yeah.
And if he can play well in those 3 games, what's he got to do to get into the Leeds squad when we need him? Someone who can score goals. He score goals in the 21s, and there's also Perkins and Joseph in there who's scoring goals for fun in the 21s. And Bamford, yes, I know he's still coming back from his injury. He's not 100% fit yet for me. And I think
if he's not 100% fit, Russ, and these youngsters are banging him in, what's he so against giving him a chance? Give him a run out.
Yeah, what I think, like under Bielsa, he wanted him to have a full season on the 21s, and then he'd fetch him into the squad. I'm wondering if that's the board saying to Jesse, this is how we do it with the under 21 players. Do it again this year, and then fetch him in next year. Well, for me,
if you're good enough, you're old enough, aren't you, for me?
Yeah, and I'd have probably put Yonto on today. And he left the substitutions again too late for me today. Why, when he fetched on Bamford off the bench, why didn't he fetch on Gellert at the same time?
Yeah, 15 minutes from the end is not good enough, is it? 20 minutes, what it was.
And we've spoken. Yeah, and he played 50 minutes from the end against Leicester on Thursday, and I do not think he even touched the ball once in that game. So what's he supposed to do in that short space of time?
Kevin in the comments has nailed what I was about to say, to be honest. He says, problem with the under-21s is it's a completely different beast of the Premier League. They struggle to play League 1 or 2 opposition, which is absolutely right.
No, I get that. But what I think probably I mean, how many I know we're talking levels here, but how many under 18s games or 21s or 23s would Milner have played, or Rooney or Smith? Do you know what I mean?
They were different then, though. They were playing proper blokes then. It were reserve teams. It wasn't under 21s and stuff.
Right.
You were playing players that are coming back from injury. And don't get me wrong, there will have been some youth in there, but they were playing proper men's football. They were getting battered and bruised by other professionals that were either at the top of the game and coming back from injury, or that were on the fringes of teams. I think the players that you've said, like with Perkins and stuff, I agree. They totally deserve the chance.
And more so the lad is on about Nonto. He's played against international players, against Germany, against England.
Yeah, I don't know why we've not seen him or giving him an opportunity, to be honest. Same with Perkins, especially when Bamford's just not firing at all. But then again, why aren't we playing Joffrey again? Rather than bringing him on with 15 minutes to go when we're getting absolutely stuffed, why aren't we giving him an opportunity?
Nothing against Rodrigo. Nothing. He had an all right game, apart from 2 stupid touches and overrunning ball a couple of times. He took his goal well, and he looked lively. He was on the last shoulder of the defenders. He wanted the ball. He looked better. But when your strikers aren't scoring, what is it? Why be so against bringing somebody else in? And Russ, I've not even thought of it like that, to be honest, mate. And you mentioned about the potential that the board are controlling that and saying, look, we're going to give them a year, best part of a year in the 21s and blood them and bring them through. You could well be spot on, mate.
Yeah, that's the only reason I think why he's not picking Joseph and Perkins just yet. Somerville, I don't think in the game against Leicester, I don't think that was the right game to start. I don't think he's ready for a start yet. I'm glad he got a goal today to show that he can actually score. I know he was against Fulham, but at least he got in the position to score, which some of our other players on that field who played today didn't even look like.
The only goal I've ever not celebrated at Ellen Road, that ever.
Yeah. And then
genuinely. And
I was listening to another channel earlier. One of my friends, Connor, who does another channel on YouTube. Some people may know the channel in the channel I mentioned on here, but he was saying, and someone else was mentioning it as well.
Available.
And someone else was saying as well, so many managers in this league are well known, and you saw when Graham Potter was a Brighton earlier on in the season. If you beat our midfield with a ball over the top, we're easy to get down because defence will have pushed up as well, so they're easy to get in behind and easy to create chances again. He needs to, for me, like he did in the Brentford game, he played with width. We're best if we've got wingers out wide who can attack the fullbacks. He's not doing that. He wants us to play narrow, which is Red Bull system, which is not working for us. For me, I'd like to go back out wide, like we were under Bielsa. Yes, we were opening games, but another decision which fell me today is that Rasmus Christensen, last three or four games, has been one of our better players, getting over the halfway line, getting up in support and creating chances. He put a ball in at Leicester, which we almost scored from. Gets dropped today for Ayling. Yes, Ayling's come back from injury and everything, but Ayling didn't really put as many crosses in as what Rasmus did in his last 3 or 4 games. He's growing in confidence, Rasmus Christensen, but he's not actually. And then to take him out of this game today when he's played well in a game against Arsenal, yes, I know we lost that game. I thought he would.
Why do you think he did take him out and put Ayling in?
I think it's because Ayling's been out for quite a while and maybe thinks Fulham maybe give Christensen a rest after so many games he's played, and Ayling's just coming back to see if Ayling could manage the full 90 minutes.
Ayling was spot on today, by the way. Apart from that marking, he played really well today.
Very good.
There were a couple of other occasions as well for me, where Willian, especially in that second half, managed one against him before he moved across to the left, our left, their right. Got past him quite easily and could have created a chance which Cock had to clear out. Well, that's the only issue which had with Ayling. Going forward, he looked good defensively with a marking. Like you mentioned, I would have probably put Strauch or Cooper on Mitrovic.
Yeah, spot on.
But other than that, I thought Ayling had a decent game. For me, I know you're going to be asking me the question in a minute, Luke, and you already know the answer to this. I march out because of the way we play.
Got it in there first.
Because the way we've played against the teams that we should be winning, Leicester, Fulham, Villa, Everton, Palace, Southampton in there as well. Out of his 11 games, we've only won 2, and some of those teams we should be beating. The teams which I didn't expect us to win was Chelsea. We won that one. Arsenal, we lost that one, which I weren't expecting. They always back us to win, whether we play against Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Scum, City, whoever we Tottenham, big sides. But I always back us to win, but I don't think we will. Yeah. And the games that we are expected to win, I think we were going to win. I thought we were going to win today quite comfortably, but obviously when Logan, the way he got past, Harrison Reed got past Robin Koch to sell William for the goal from that throw. She never got going from there. And
never.
And the second goal for Fulham, there were 2 players stood in front of him, looking at each other as if to say, "I'm not going towards him. Are you going towards him?" Pretend they decided we were going towards him. Ball had come off his head and gone in back in there. 2-1 down.
Yeah, that's it, mate. Well, look, you've made your point quite clear there, Russ, and again, thanks ever so much as ever for coming on. You're always a breath of fresh air, mate. You're brilliant.
And for me, and I'm looking at the realistic people out there who potentially could come in as the next manager should Jesse go. For me, I know some people may not agree with this, but for me, I'd fetch Sean Dyche because
fucking hell.
Fucking hell.
Get him out, Luke, quick. Fucking hell.
Ross. Just before you get on to, I know why you're going to say, because you show the side up and we'll pick up some shithouse wins and that, but could you imagine going to Ellen Road fucking every other week and watching Dyche ball? Seriously. As a fan, I'd rather get relegated.
But I'm looking at realistic options out there.
Why ghost?
I'm looking at realistic options out there. I heard someone say Chris Wilder. I don't think he'd come in to Leeds. Poch, we won't get him. So for me, but for me, I think the only realistic one out there other than who can potentially keep us up like he did with Burnley until they went down last season.
Yeah,
with Dyche, who knows how to keep teams in the division, keep us up, gets towards mid-table, then let him go out of the season and get someone in to take us to that next level. Then, but for right now, I think if we get rid of Marsh, I'd fair Dyche until the end of the season, and then
Each
get rid
to-
after that.
Each to their own, Russ. Thanks ever so much for coming on again, buddy. You're an
Yeah, no
absolute
problem,
diamond.
lads.
Take it easy,
Thanks for
bud.
coming on,
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you, mate.
Yeah, I mean, interesting take. I had a brief conversation with somebody on Twitter about this earlier with Sean Dyche, and I genuinely, sorry to the guys waiting, we will get you on. Just give us a couple of minutes. You can come on and have your say. But yeah, we just know. I just could not stand going to an away game and sitting 11 men behind the ball, hoping to get a free kick on edge at box all day. Could you imagine that? That's been like my worst fucking nightmare. In fact, I'd probably not even go.
Genuinely,
I'd not go to away
100%
games.
rather be painted naked than have someone like Sean Dyche come to our fucking club.
Let's get another guest
Honestly.
on. This is the Balding Yorkie Pommer. We'll start with Dyche, actually. Evening, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, pretty good, mate. I'm just destroying my house at the moment. How are you?
All right. Are you out in Australia then?
Yeah, mate. I've just finished the night shift.
Oof.
I'm about to sit down with a nice
Whereabouts in
coffee.
Aussie coming from?
Newcastle, mate. Just outside of Newcastle.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Have you always lived out there, or you just picked the accent up since you?
No, mate. No, I lived in Wakey.
Ah, wait.
I was in
I said
Wakey
there was a
for-
bit of a mix in there.
I was in
Basically lads
in
together.
Wakey for 35 years. I've lived in Eber Gardens and Beeston and fucking all over the place, mate. I've
Whereabouts
been
in
off for
Wakefield are you
12
from?
years now.
You don't have to tell us
Hey?
if you're on the run or anything. Whereabouts in Wakefield are you from?
Yeah.
Oh, the outliers, mate. I grew up in Crofton. Crofton and
not far
Walton.
from me. I'm Kettlethorpe, so not a million miles away.
Okay, yeah, my nephew
Yeah,
lives
yeah.
in Ketty, mate.
Probably no. We'll have a talk off.
There must be
off
something
air
in
anyway,
water. It must be like a hail off sort of centre of Wakefield or something like that.
I'm going to put my hat back on, mate. Fucking balding shit.
So we'll start with Russell's closing comments then. So he's suggested, mate, that if we were to sack Marsh, that he brings Sean Dyche in. What do you make of that?
Nah, mate. Nah, not Sean Dyche. No. No, there's many a manager out there, mate, that's better than Sean Dyche. Come on. Sean Dyche has had his day. He's got his £6 million and he's sitting on a beach in Bermuda now, fucking having a few tinnies, you know? He's going to be a commentator for the next few years, Sean Dyche, talking about old history and shit.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
No, not
Did you
Sean Dyche.
get to watch the game at work then? Or have you seen
Yeah,
today?
mate, yeah. Because we've got Optus down here, so I can just flick through the games.
Yeah,
So I can watch it whenever I want. So I was working at a disability house last night watching the game, and I packed it in after 15 minutes before the end, mate. I turned it off. I thought I can't watch this shit anymore.
You missed best part then, Somerville's goal? I'm only kidding.
Oh no, I went back on the
That
shot.
was a whistle at best part.
Scored just after the 90, didn't he? But after about, oh mate, we just fell apart. We run around like headless chickens. We burn out after half an hour, and then we're just fucked. And then it's the other team just come on to us. Happens every fucking time.
I thought the exact same, mate. So did we, with that in mind, then, do you think this current situation that we're in, because we are in a situation, are we in the relegation zone or just outside it? Are we just in it or just out? I can't remember.
We're
anyway,
in it. I think we're third from bottom.
Either way, we're in a bit of trouble. So who does that lie with?
Lies with the board, first and foremost. They haven't backed the club. They haven't backed the club. It's like the guy's hoping to get as much profit from it as possible by not investing his money into it. Well, we've been in there for 3 seasons now. We've had 3 Premiership seasons. So how much is that in total? Just for being in the Premiership. And how much have we put into the club? It's nowhere near what we've got out of it. Nowhere near what we've taken from the Premiership. We haven't put anywhere near as much into the club as other teams around us. And if you don't do that, there's only one way you're going to go, and that's down. You're not going to even stay where you are. And as it's happening now, we're down in the bottom 3. I mean, last season should have been a warning to everybody, you know? We were fucked at the end of it. We only survived by the skin of his teeth. And that should have been a big fucking wake-up call for Rads and Kinnear and everybody else to put the money in the fucking pocket. I put the hand in the pocket.
Just really quickly, while you mentioned Kinnear, I've just got a quick video that I pulled out of Twitter that we can all just watch really quickly. I'll just pop it on play so everybody who's watching can just watch this really quickly and we'll have a bit of a chat about it.
Know what's going on.
No, worries, mate.
Do you know what I mean? We care about this bunch. We're grateful for the job you've done, mate. But as Jesse's delivered,
look, the results are what we need to do. Everyone knows that. So, we're working behind the scenes, to try and fix it. So that's the thing. Players are working hard. Jesse's working really hard. backroom staff working really hard.
Have you got confidence in him, Angus?
You know, we still think he can do a great job for us, but results are what we want to do. So we'll just keep working hard and focus on the next game, and that's the best we can do. The players, they're giving 100%. They're devastated. I tell you, they're devastated in there. And
where does it turn? We've got Liverpool next week, Nick.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Every game's tough in this league.
Let's striker play for Italy. He don't play 1 minute.
So we've got fans there from various supporters clubs. I think some are from Iceland and various other places, Scotland and a couple of others. Question Angus Kinnear. You mentioned there that that's the blame lies majority with the board. He doesn't look a confident man there, does he?
No. You can tell by the body language, mate. There was a few occasions during the game I looked at Jesse Marsh, and usually he's pumped on the touchline. He's just looked lost. He looked completely lost. There was like 3 or 4 minutes where he was just not saying anything. He was just staring at the players on the pitch. And you're thinking, if you're lost, mate, then we've got fucking no chance. You know, you're the guy in charge. You should know what to do. And he didn't have a fucking clue. So what can you do? What can you do?
What are you making them comments?
What from Angus?
Yeah, mate.
What was his actual name? The Balding Yorkie Pom. What's his actual name? I don't want to start calling you the Balding Yorkie Pom every 5 minutes.
Does that help? There you go.
Nick.
Right, Nick. As Nick said, you know, for me, it's all in his body language. He's not got his arms crossed or anything like that. I mean, the guy who were interviewing looked like he were about to swing a left hook at him, to be honest. But I think that, you know, he's come out and he said what he needs to say, what we need to hear, which is just fucking bullshit, isn't it, really?
It's almost like a Tory answer, wasn't it? It was almost like a deflection.
It's a deflective, exactly. It's a deflective politicians kind of answer.
Yeah, it is.
You can't tell me that the board aren't thinking we might need to get rid of this guy. We might really need to get rid of this guy. And for me, you know, with the World Cup coming up now, that we've got an opportunity to get rid of Jesse Marsh, and I like him as a guy. I think he's great. His personality and all, you know, blah blah blah. But I think with Liverpool coming up and Bournemouth at home, plus a cup game, I think it gives us enough time to kind of let Jesse do whatever he needs to do and bring someone in time for the World Cup so they can have their time with the players. I mean, it's probably not going to happen. Yeah. We'll probably just, you know, we'll all be back. We'll get absolutely rinsed at Ellen Road by City on Boxing Day, and it'll just get bad for worse. And then we won't improve the squad in January, and it'll just be it's just a continuous cycle, just continuous bullshit from the board. The same old shite football that we've been served up by Jesse Marsh, and the same mediocre performances that we're getting from the players. So
now, I get you. Like you said, we've got this perfect window of opportunity that doesn't always come around in the middle of a season, where you can get a new manager in with time with the players. So if they're going to pull the plug or pull the pin, they need to do it now. You know, if they waste these 4 or 5 weeks and then get somebody in when results go bad, which they're going to do, they're not going to improve.
I think we've got to. I think if they are going to get rid of him, you know, what's the point? What's the point, mate? Doing it. We're waiting for it, the inevitable. You know, we've got some tough games. We're not expected to get anything out of the next, apart from Bournemouth, out of the next few games. Why not give them a bit of a pre-season in these games if we are bringing somebody in, you know, give them a bit of a pre-season, World Cup break, give some time with the lads, and come back and start a fresh season halfway through the season in January. Give them some money to spend. But then on the back of that, I'm thinking, Nick, who the fuck is going to want to come in with no budget?
I've had this conversation with Tom on Twitter. My shout, and this is a bit out of the park, a bit Ange Postecoglou up at Celtic.
Right.
I know that's a bit of a long shot, but he's a good tactician, mate, and he's a good manager, and he can get the most out of players, like he did with the Socceroos. You remember the Socceroos in 2014 against the Dutch? And the Socceroos shocked the world during that, mate. And Postecoglou is a good manager. He's a bit old school, but he's it'd be on our level. Like people are mentioning Pochettino, we got no chance at Pot. Not a chance. He's going for Champions League. But Anne's stepping up from the Scottish division, coming to the Premiership. I reckon we'd be on a level for him.
Is it a step up? Is it a step up?
Is it a Gerrard in disguise?
He's going to be leaving Celtic, who probably might win the league this year. And
Celtic or Rangers, mate, every year.
But that's going to look much better on his CV than if he gets relegated with Leeds. Do you know what I mean? Do you see where I'm coming from? I mean,
you've got the added pressure of trying to keep Leeds United up as well, though. You're going to go from high-flying Celtic. You know, look at Gerrard at Rangers. He went from Rangers to Villa and he's been sacked because they are performing. You know, there's no guarantees, is there? But I appreciate what you're saying. You know, absolutely. Who knows who they could potentially bring in if they did decide to sack Marsh? But I think we need to look at it from their perspective. They would have to come in and have results instantly. And only a very, very good manager with experience on managing potentially in Europe or, the top leagues, or maybe even have some sort of Premier League experience. That's the sort of manager you would need. And I'm sorry, but I don't think hardly any of them are touches with a 40-foot barge pole at the moment.
I think you're right. I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
I don't see how, with where we've treated our recent managers, not just that, but the amount of input we've had into the club in terms of funds, who is going to want to come and risk their, especially people who are employed, who's going to want to come and risk leaving a steady job where they might be doing well? Because let's face it, we're going to want a manager who's doing well, which we're going to be, targeting decent managers. Who's going to want to risk leaving that job to come and potentially try and keep Leeds up, and then maybe be in a similar position in 6 months' time as to what Jesse Marsh is in?
It depends on personality, mate. At the moment, up in Celtic, he's a big goldfish in a small bowl. Do you know what I mean? There's only 2 teams that are going to win that division. So he maybe wants to push himself. I mean, when he was Socceroos coach, he was international manager for 4 years. That's a decent stint as an international manager.
Yeah.
So, he left that and he went to the Scottish division, which you wouldn't have expected. You wouldn't have expected an international manager to leave and then go to a 2-team division. So he's obviously got something behind him that he wants to push himself a little bit further. So maybe he wants to push himself again, come to the Premiership and try another team. But going for these top-notch managers, which every other club in the world is going to be going for, we've got no chance, mate. We don't have a club. We don't have a chance of those.
What are your thoughts on how approachable would Lopetegui, is it? Lopetegui, whatever he's called, from Sevilla?
This podcast and the way that we try and pronounce managers' names or players' names, this is unrivaled, isn't it?
I'm looking if I can understand. I can understand. I'm looking if I can understand somebody from Barnsley. Never mind, fucking
just
Spain.
about read comments, honestly.
Lopetegui. It was at Sevilla. I think he left this year, actually, even if I remember rightly. But look, we're not going to be able to tempt anybody out of a job, for me, if I'm honest. I think we have to be looking at somebody who's unemployed, realistically, or who is going to be who's going to see it as a promotion. So somebody from either potentially the lower leagues, or something along those lines. And it's not to say it won't happen, but look, I don't know. I don't have the answers, I'm afraid. But anyway, before we let you go, Nick, the burning question. Obviously, you lean the majority of the responsibility on the board. But where are you as we stand tonight? Are you hashtag Jesse in or Jesse out?
I don't think he's Premiership standard, mate. Jesse, I think he's good. I think he's a beautiful man. He speaks very passionately. I was in Brisbane when he came down to the crowd. And he stood right in front of the crowd, got on the mic for a good 20 minutes and spoke directly to the crowd. And I really admired him for that. And I think he's a really good motivational kind of guy. And I'd definitely go for a pint with him. I just don't think he's ready for the Premiership. I don't think he's got the right tactics for it. I don't think he can adapt. He looks clueless, mate. When it comes to substitutions, he doesn't do them at the right time. He puts on the wrong people. It's just not Premiership ready. And it's a shame. Yeah,
fair dues.
Hashtag Jesse.
All right, mate. Nick, thanks ever so much for joining us after your night shift, buddy. Appreciate it.
No
Take it easy.
Mate. Appreciate it.
Take it easy, mate. Bye-bye.
Take it easy.
Very much a common theme. Look, we've had some smashing guests on tonight, to be fair, and everybody who's spoken has been right. There's not been really any wrong answers apart from Russ and his option for our new manager being Sean Dyche. I mean, that's just absolutely fucking bonkers. He's done me with that. I thought I respected him as a journalist before that as well. But you know what? I
was just going to say that's the beauty of it all. Everyone's got an opinion. I keep saying it. Opinions are like assholes, and everyone's got one. Whether it's good or bad. So
yeah. So yeah. Look, I think we're unanimous in where we are as a club, and to be able to move forward, that is probably not right that he stays here or that he's here. The what? Frankfurter manager. Frankfurt, I think. He's not going to be coming.
It's
Frankfurt
Carl,
manager. They're playing in Europe.
It's Carl with his weird spellings and his typing's as bad as how he's trying to pronounce them. To be honest.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the important question: where are you? Where are you with all this? What do you think we should do tonight?
Sack everyone. Bin everyone. Start again. Where am I? Well, it's like we said a few times this evening. There is nothing we can do. The only thing that we can do is get rid of the manager. That's the only thing that we can do. But is there any point now? The World Cup's a big thing. Because if we are going to do something, it needs to be now, before the World Cup.
Question, just before you go on, just real quick. Could we wait till after the World Cup and poach a manager from one of the international teams?
But why? That'll be. It's just basically an open market for everyone else to do the same. It's like we Hakpo with us potentially signing him. You know, if he has a good World Cup, everyone in the world is going to be wanting to sign him. It's a perfect window for everyone to go, oh, he's quite good, let's get him, and oh, he looks all right. You know, look at Rio Ferdinand when he played for us in World Cup. Bosh, he were off. See you later. Fuck me, this guy's a player. He were gone. Scum signed him. See you later.
I think it's it's the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, it's a perfect opportunity, but for someone to come in now, I mean, I don't. Is Nuno ex-Wolves a bad shout? Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know. I don't have the. Who knows? I don't have the answers. I'm just a fucking idiot that comes and talks shit with me mates on a podcast.
Smarties have the answers.
Yeah, well, clearly not in this case, but you know, we can try, can't we?
Look, I, as I said at the start of the podcast, I've been so supportive of Jesse Marsh. I thought he spoke really well. I bought into his philosophies and ideas, the way we were going to press, the way we were going to move, and we've seen it work. And when it works well. But it's not working well often enough. Do you know what I mean? It's not working often enough.
At all, is it?
No, and that's the most frustrating thing for me. That's the annoying thing, I think. And for that reason, I think I begrudgingly say, I mean, unless we've not got a replacement lined up and a good replacement at that, I think then we're paying his wages, keep hold of him. Mark Jackson, what about Mark Jackson stepping up?
It's like a Neil Redfern, isn't it? Under 23s or academy managers coming in and, hey, you know, we to say, but I think that we need someone that can actually get hold of these players and do something tactically, because will Mark Jackson play the exact same tactics as what he's been? I mean, obviously, they're having to, I don't know whether the under 23s, because I've not watched them that much, play the same sort of attacking football, that kind of football that Marsh plays. I know that Bielsa used to have, Carlos playing the same sort of football as the first team, so it was instilled throughout the academy. So that obviously it's just a natural progression for them. Would Jacko do a job? Who knows?
Jacko's obviously had the added benefit of seeing the stuff that Bielsa did that worked well, but also that Marsh has done that works well. And who knows? It could be a great sort of mixture that might be able to take us forward. Look, we'll never know. Corbyn's just signed for West Brom, I think, Jack, but not a bad shout. But I don't think he would have been right either. If Bielsa couldn't do it, then Corbyn, who's a diluted version of Bielsa, definitely wouldn't be able to do it for me. But look, there's loads of options, loads of opinions. As Smarty says, they're like arseholes. So I'd like to thank you for jumping on, Smarty. I'm sure I feel a little bit better. Yeah, I feel a bit better for speaking about it. I'm going to go and play.
I'm going to go play Kirby on M62. I think
Kirby. That's with a basketball in it.
Whatever. I'm going to go and play on motorway.
And on that note, thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Send us if you've got any ideas or anything you want to raise at Orta or Better on Twitter. You're more than
Jesse Marsh. Send them to him. Maybe he might see a few of them.
Thank you ever so much, everybody. Take it easy, and we will be back
everyone.
On Tuesday night
for
a pre-Liverpool. It's only Liverpool next. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, they're shit.